Coming up on Mountain News this morning, federal officials arrested one man after planning an ISIS-inspired New Year's Eve terror attack. And when it comes to political leaning in the U.S., age may be one of the most influential factors.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good Monday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this January 5th. The time is now 6 a.m., so let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, here lately, I genuinely have to check the forecast every time I leave my house because I just don't know what it's going to feel like when I walk outside.
Yeah, that is totally fair. And even me, who I know the forecast, I will just completely dress incorrectly because I just don't know how 20 degrees feels like until this morning. And you guys will feel it too. I mean, it is cold out there, so make sure you're wearing your layers. It's definitely going to be necessary. Maybe set aside some extra minutes just to warm up your car before you head on to the roads this morning. But good news is we won't be seeing those cold temperatures for too long. In fact, we're going to see pretty mild temperatures by the time we head into the afternoon, upper 50s, low 60s. So just really not that bad of a day after all. I mean, just cold this morning, of course, but it gets better. Now, in terms of what we're seeing in the clouds, though, just a little bit of some clouds, but for the most part, we'll be looking at sunny skies over the next couple of hours with cloud cover increasing as we're heading into the evening hours. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. Federal officials say they've arrested an 18-year-old North Carolina man for planning an ISIS-inspired New Year's Eve terror attack. U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson says Christian Sturtevant had been planning the attack for a year and was targeting a North Carolina grocery store and fast food restaurant outside Charlotte. Officials say he pledged his allegiance to ISIS to an undercover agent. Folks in Switzerland are still trying to process an explosion that resulted in the death of approximately 40 people during a New Year's celebration. Some in the Swiss town of Sion say they were shocked after the fire that happened in the ski resort bar. Some also say that it provided a reality check to them that they could have been killed if they had decided to attend the party.
Yeah, the fact that it's so close proximity, it's one of those places you go to, you know, everyone goes to bars to party and those things. It's weird, it's eye-opening, and it gave me a sense of gratitude.
Thank you very much.
Roughly 115 people were injured from the explosion. Swiss authorities say they are not sure what caused the blaze. The man accused of being the Washington, D.C. pipe bomber will remain in jail until he faces trial. That ruling from a federal judge Friday, 2 days after a hearing in which prosecutors argued that Brian Cole Jr. would pose a danger to others if he were released and allowed to live with his family. Cole is accused of placing explosives outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee buildings in January of 2021. Today, former Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected to be arraigned in a New York courtroom on narco-terrorism charges. Related charges, the two were captured during a military operation in Venezuela and transported to the U.S. over the weekend. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
Venezuela's former president Nicolas Maduro is behind bars in this Brooklyn detention center. Soon, he and his wife, Celia Flores, are expected to make their first appearance in a Manhattan federal court on drug, weapons, and narco-terrorism charges.
There will be more security around him, obviously, but it will be fairly procedural.
On Saturday, the U.S. military carried out the operation that led to their capture in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas, igniting new uncertainty over the country's future.
We're in charge.
The president faced new questions Sunday over who's running Venezuela.
Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies.
Venezuela's new interim president, former Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, issued a statement calling for peaceful coexistence. President Trump says she's cooperating, though in an interview with The Atlantic, he also warned, quote, if she doesn't do what's right, she is going to pay a very big price. As the Trump administration and Justice Department lawyers prepare for court today, there's a different reaction on Capitol Hill, with some lawmakers now slamming the Venezuela operation as illegal.
The Constitution is really pretty clear that the representatives of the people get to be consulted and ultimately approve military activity. That has not happened here.
Multiple sources familiar tell CBS News White House officials are expected to give a classified briefing to lawmakers later this afternoon. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
We're learning that dozens of Venezuelans and Cubans were killed in the operation over the weekend. Multiple U.S. service members were wounded. President Trump said last night he had calls into them, adding, quote, they're all in good shape. The news out of Venezuela prompted reaction across the world, from celebrations to protests. In South Florida, there were celebrations over the weekend as Venezuelans who fled their country learned of the toppling of the Maduro regime. But elsewhere, there was anger, protests in many places from Texas to New York and North Carolina.
It's just a feeling, I can explain it. We make a life here because we had to, not because we wanted to. So we really want to go back.
So outrageous seeing that our tax dollars are being used for this outrageous act of bombing another country and a sovereign nation.
Globally, the reaction to the news in Venezuela has been mixed. China, which buys more oil from Venezuela than any other country, quote, strongly condemned the blatant use of force against a sovereign state. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK sheds no tears about the end of the Maduro regime. Kentucky Representative Hal Rogers made a statement on X applauding President Trump for taking action against narco-terrorism, saying, quote, I applaud President Trump for taking decisive action to dismantle the narco-terrorist regime in Venezuela, led by its president, Nicolas Maduro. Our brave military service members have shown extreme excellence in accomplishing this historic mission, and I salute each one of our heroes. For years, we have battled an epidemic of deadly drugs flooding into our American communities from Venezuela, and this is a monumental display of U.S. force against the cartels and dictators who pursue terrorism over peace, end quote. When it comes to political leaning in the U.S., age may be one of the most influential factors. According to a CNN poll, Americans feel more politically connected by generation than they do by race or gender. Nearly 60% of respondents in the poll said they share a lot of common interests and concerns with other people in their generation. By contrast, fewer than half of Americans, 43%, said they feel politically connected to others of their gender. And just 39% said they feel politically connected to others of the same race.
As you're heading out the door this morning, expect some clouds out and about, which isn't too bad as we have that full moon illuminating a lot of the nighttime hours. Now, as that sun does rise, we'll be looking at sunny skies taking over, with some partly cloudy skies returning as we're heading into the evening. But in terms of what you need to know, bundle up. I mean, we're talking chilly temperatures this morning, some 20s, some 30s, but maybe opt for just a jacket as your layers. As the time we head into the afternoon, we're looking actually really pleasant. Upper 50s and low 60s are in the forecast, and we'll be hitting that high temperature around that 4 o'clock time frame. Again, just seeing those temperatures building really as we're heading into the middle of the day. Not too bad all in all. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Heating bills are already climbing due to higher demand and delivery costs, with experts claiming more strain on consumer pockets.